Discover the incredible journey to rebuild your life, 30 days to uncover your hidden strengths. The flyer caught Jamie's eye as she shuffled past the community center one crisp evening. Her heart felt heavy, weighed down by the frost that clung to the empty streets of her small town in the Midwest. It was just another day filled with worry: her job at the diner, followed by a late shift at the grocery store, all while managing her son Caleb's asthma and their outdated, creaky house that loomed with the threat of foreclosure. A home that had weathered generations now stood on the edge, and the thought crushed her. She felt like just another statistic, another single mother lost in a sea of struggles, resigned to her fate. Her weary eyes caught the phrase "uncover your hidden strengths." A distant hope flickered. Could she really find something within her to change her life? The familiar gnawing doubt fought back hard, whispering that she wasn't worth the effort. She paused, the air sharp around her, the weight of her situation bearing down like the frigid wind. "Hey, you okay?" A warm voice broke through her thoughts. It was Mike, her neighbor and fellow single dad. His gentle smile could melt ice, one conversation at a time. He pulled her from her spiraling thoughts. "You should try it. I know you've got strength in you, Jamie." His encouragement sparked something aflame she thought had long been extinguished. Maybe she could take that first step. With a knot of anxiety tightening her chest, she signed up. Walking into the community center, she felt a mix of trepidation and anticipation. The room was alive, filled with people who had their own stories of pain and resilience. The warmth of their shared experiences wrapped around her like a quilt on a cold night. As they opened up about their hardships, loss, regret, unyielding determination, the walls seemed to close in, but in a good way, fostering a sense of belonging she hadn't felt in years. When her turn came, Jamie hesitated, heart racing, before forcing the words out. "I've always wanted to start a business, like my mom did." As the words spilled forth, the fear in her gut twisted painfully. Who was she to dream like that? But the applause that followed surprised her, igniting warmth in her soul. Every face in the room reflected hope and determination, their encouragement breaking down barriers she didn't even realize existed. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just as Jamie began to flourish among her newfound friends, tragedy struck. Caleb fell gravely ill. The hospital's fluorescent lights flickered to life above her, stark and cold. Panic clutched at her throat as she sat beside his bed, heart racing. The sense of losing him felt like a deep, bottomless pit opening beneath her. In the darkest moment, when she thought she would crumble, her workshop family swooped in. They brought meals, shared laughter to lighten the air, and rallied behind her, lifting her spirits in ways she never knew possible. Their connection fortified her belief in herself, building strength around her like a mighty fortress. As Jamie stood on the precipice of her fears during the workshop's final session, she realized that real strength came not from solitude but from community, love, and shared dreams. With uncertain tomorrows looming ahead, Jamie felt a surge of empowerment. She stood at a crossroads, a whisper of the American dream echoing in her mind, but would she take the leap? The workshop had concluded, but the lessons lingered in Jamie's heart long after the last clap faded into the gentle hum of the community center. As she walked home, the air felt electric, charged with possibility. She was no longer just Jamie, the single mother struggling to keep her life from crumbling. Tonight, she felt a bubbling hope. Arriving home, she was greeted by silence, thick and heavy. Her heart ached for Caleb's laughter, for the chaos of a little boy's imagination running wild. Glancing at the few toys scattered across the living room floor, it hit her: she wanted more than just survival. She wanted to create a life for Caleb that sparkled with joy and adventure. Sitting on the couch, she pulled out her notebook, the pages already filled with plans and ideas. The ink had flown from her pen in the workshop, each stroke carrying the weight of her dreams. She could picture a small coffee shop where kids could play, parents could relax, and neighbors could gather. She could almost smell the fresh brew mingling with the aroma of baked goods, all while Caleb zipped around with friends under a sunny sky, but reality came crashing back. Could she actually make this happen? The shadows of doubt crept in again, whispering insidious thoughts. Money was tight, and her job at the diner barely covered bills. The foreclosure notice still lingered at the back of her mind, waiting to pounce. Just then, the familiar sound of a soft cough drifted through the hallway. Jamie's heart stopped for a moment. Rushing to Caleb's room, she found him curled up under a blanket, his small chest rising and falling unevenly. She tucked the blanket around him tighter, wishing to shield him from the world's harshness. "Hey, buddy," she whispered, smoothing his hair back. "How are you feeling?" Caleb blinked tiredly, his voice a raspy whisper. "Not great, Mom. I feel dizzy." Her heart shattered a little. She wanted to be a beacon of strength for him, to be the superhero who fixed everything, yet here she was, shaken by her own fears. "I'm here, sweetheart. We'll get through this together," she reassured him, but her own faith wavered the next day. She woke up with a sense of urgency that was too new, too intense to ignore. She pulled out her notebook again, rereading her vision. This was not just about her anymore. Caleb was counting on her to dream boldly, to fight for their future. As she scribbled down ideas and details, she realized it didn't have to be perfect, it just needed to be real. She decided to call an old friend, Kelly, from high school. They'd lost touch over the years, but Kelly had once told Jamie about buying a small bakery. "It's about building something from nothing," she said, her eyes sparkling with passion. Nervously, Jamie dialed the number, her hand trembling. On the other end, Kelly's voice was as warm and welcoming as she remembered, full of encouragement and reminders of shared dreams. "You know, Jamie, I've been looking for a partner. I could use your help." As Jamie hung up, her heart raced with newfound possibility. Maybe this was the universe nudging her, telling her that she wasn't alone after all. The sun began to set, casting a soft glow through her kitchen window. Inspiration bubbled within her. She began to draft a plan with Kelly, outlining what they could create together. But as the day drew to a close, a question loomed over her: would she have the strength to fully commit to this leap of faith? Would she dare to invest all of her hopes in a dream that could either lift them or shatter her entirely? The door of opportunity was ajar, but would she cross the threshold? Only time would tell. The morning light filtered through the kitchen window, casting playful shadows on the walls. Jamie sat at the table, her notebook spread open, filled with sketches and half-formed plans. The coffee pot gurgled softly, pouring out the rich, dark liquid that fueled her early mornings. Today felt different. It felt like a beginning. Caleb's cough had faded, his fever broken. He mumbled something about pancakes as he sleepily padded into the kitchen. Jamie's heart swelled at the sight of him. His messy hair, tousled from sleep, brought a smile to her face. She flipped the page in her notebook, ready to put her dreams into action. "Pancakes, huh?" she said playfully. "How about some blueberry pancakes?" His eyes lit up, and a hint of his usual enthusiasm returned. "With whipped cream?" "Of course." She laughed, pulling the ingredients from the cupboard. As she mixed the batter, she felt a surge of determination, mixing together not just flour and eggs but hope and dreams. While the pancakes sizzled on the griddle, her phone buzzed on the counter. It was a message from Kelly. "Can we meet today? I want to talk shop." Her heart raced again. This was an actual step toward her dream. After breakfast, she quickly cleaned up, nerves churning in her stomach. Could she really plunge into this new world? Once Caleb was settled with his toys, Jamie slipped out the door, the weight of uncertainty heavy on her shoulders. The coffee shop idea was still unformed, a jigsaw puzzle missing too many pieces. Yet as she glanced down the street, she could almost see it, the little gathering spot sprouting to life. At the cafe, Kelly was already seated, a bright smile on her face, a steaming cup in hand. "Jamie! It's so good to see you." She beamed, her excitement infectious. They exchanged pleasantries, and as Jamie took her seat, a wave of nostalgia washed over her. This was the girl who dreamed big, the one who had inspired Jamie years ago to reach for more. "All right, let us get down to it," Kelly said, her voice dropping slightly. "What are you thinking?" The words poured out of Jamie, each dream woven with the threads of her hope and fears. She spoke about the community space, the laughter of children, and the aroma of coffee. Kelly listened intently, nodding with every detail. "Jamie, this is fantastic," she said, enthusiasm bubbling over. "We can do this together. I have ideas for more than just a bakery. It could be a community hub. Think events, workshops, family nights, the possibilities are endless." As they tossed ideas back and forth, Jamie felt lighter, the shackles of doubt loosening. But a little voice inside her whispered, "What if it all falls apart?" Yet, the thrill of possibility drowned out that voice, sending a rush of adrenaline through her. A few hours flew by, and as they wrapped up, Kelly leaned forward. "Listen, let us draft a business plan. We can apply for grants to get started. We can do this." The spark in Kelly's eyes ignited a fire in Jamie. Maybe it was possible. Maybe they could turn that cherished dream into a reality. "Okay, let us do it," Jamie said, her voice steady, finally finding courage. But as she left the cafe, the weight returned. What about the money? What if they failed? Just as the doubts threatened to spiral, her phone buzzed again. A reminder popped up for her upcoming meeting with the bank. The foreclosure notice loomed over her like a storm cloud. Would she gamble on her dreams, risking everything she fought for? Would she dare to pursue something beautiful when the world around her felt so precarious? In that moment of uncertainty, she realized her heart was racing not just with fear, but with the thrill of what lay ahead. "Caleb," she whispered under her breath, "we're going to make this work." As she turned the corner toward home, another thought struck her. Would investing in her dreams also mean risking her safety? Could she really bring her vision to life, even with everything at stake? The road ahead was uncertain, but the possibility of a brighter future flickered like a candle in the dark, urging her forward. The door creaked as Jamie stepped back into her home, a familiar blend of warmth and chaos welcoming her. Caleb was still busy in his world of toys, his laughter echoing throughout the living room. It was a comforting sound, yet it brought a rush of reality crashing back down. Her little boy, with endless dreams of his own, was counting on her. Jamie took a deep breath, letting it settle in her chest. She glanced around the room, looking at the sketches she had taped to the walls, places and plans that felt so far away yet so close at the same time. Her mind drifted back to her meeting with Kelly. They were full of ideas, possibilities that overflowed, yet the looming bank meeting knotted her stomach. As Caleb's joyous squeals filled the air, Jamie felt a flicker of resolve. "You can do this," she whispered to herself, jogging her mind back to the notes she scribbled earlier. There was something there, something solid and worthy of chasing. "Mommy!" Caleb called out, tearing her from thought. He clutched a small truck, his grin stretching wide, pure joy radiating from him. "Look what I built!" Her heart warmed at the sight. "That's amazing, buddy. Can I make a coffee shop just like your truck?" His eyes sparkled. "Yeah. And we can put lights on it. And make it happy." The innocence of his idea struck a chord in her heart. Happiness was what she wanted. She needed to find a way to turn those dreams, both his and hers, into something beautifully tangible. Over the next hour, Jamie joined him, building towers with blocks and creating a little cafe out of toy furniture. Together, they designed it, overlapping their visions into something greater than either could make alone. Each giggle, each story they spun was a thread binding them closer together. After building the perfect imaginary shop, Caleb finally settled down for a nap, leaving Jamie sitting at the table, alone with her thoughts again. Inspired, she cracked open her notebook, filling it with kernels of ideas shaped by Caleb's imagination. She started drafting potential menus, events, and how life might thrive in a community context. But even as excitement bubbled within her, the shadows of fear crept back in. What if she put her heart, soul, and savings into this and it all fell apart? The bank was a reality that she still had to face. Her mind wandered to the foreboding notice. Was it too late for dreams when the clock was ticking? A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. It was her neighbor, Linda, a friendly face who often brought over home-cooked meals and extra cookies. This time, though, excitement pinched at Linda's cheeks. "I heard about your meeting. Just wanted to say I'm on your side, whatever you decide." Jamie felt tears prick at her eyes. "Thank you, Linda. I need all the support I can get. Just remember, Jamie, Linda added, her eyes glinting with sincerity, the world needs more people who dream big. Even when it's tough, don't second-guess yourself. Those words hung in the air long after Linda left. They settled somewhere deep inside, stirring hope within her. Maybe she could do this. With renewed determination, Jamie stood up and looked outside. The sun hung low in the sky, a blaze of orange and pink in artist's palette. It felt like the universe was telling her it was time to paint her own future, to take a step into the unknown. Just then, her phone buzzed. A message from Kelly flickered on the screen, "Let us meet again. I have someone who can help with the banking side." Heart racing, Jamie felt the flicker of possibility turn into a spark. Was she ready to risk everything? Could she transform this dream into something real? As the weight of uncertainty still loomed, hope illuminated the path ahead. But could she really figure this all out before the bank meeting? Would she muster enough courage to take the leap? Determined but anxious, she whispered to herself, "Here goes nothing." Jamie inhaled sharply, her heart pounding in her chest. The sun was setting, casting warm rays through the kitchen window, illuminating her scattered notes and sketches. She picked up her phone, staring at it as if it held the answers to all her questions. "Let us meet again. I have someone who can help with the banking side." The words danced in her mind. This was it. This was the moment she'd been waiting for. Yet, a swirl of doubt tugged at her heart. What if she wasn't ready? What if all her dreams turned to dust? Shaking her head, she gripped the edge of the table, steadying herself. "No more second-guessing," she murmured, reminding herself of Linda's encouraging words. Before she knew it, she had crafted a quick response to Kelly. "I'm in. What time?" With a deep breath, she hit send, feeling a flurry of excitement mingle with her anxiety. Caleb stirred in his nap, a soft whimper escaping his lips. Jamie moved to the couch, running her fingers through his soft hair. His small form, wrapped in his favorite blanket, made her heart swell. He was her anchor, her reason to chase this dream. "Mommy's going to make something wonderful for us," she whispered, planting a gentle kiss on his forehead. As he blinked awake, Caleb's smile lit up the dim room, infectious and pure. "Mommy! I had a dream about our coffee shop," he exclaimed, full of wonder. She chuckled, her heart warming even more. "Oh? Tell me." They spent the next few minutes lost in his imaginative world, as he painted pictures of caramel lattes and giggling customers. The innocence of his dreams brought her back to focus, reigniting her own visions. Later that evening, as they snuggled on the couch watching a movie, Jamie's mind drifted back to the meeting. Her stomach twisted at the thought of facing the bank representatives. They were the gatekeepers to her dream. She could almost hear their questions, their doubts echoing in her mind. "What makes you think this will work? Have you prepared for all outcomes?" Setting her jaw, Jamie felt a surge of determination bubbling within. She could allow fear to dictate her path any longer. She would prepare. She would practice. Just then, a realization struck her like a fresh breeze. What if she invited her friends to help? People who believed in her vision, people who could offer input and support. Could it be that simple? Of course. Why didn't I think of this before? Jamie said, her voice barely above a whisper. She could gather her community around her, not just to build a business, but to ignite a movement of dreams. That night, after tucking Caleb into bed, Jamie stayed up late, drafting an invite for a brainstorming session at Casual Coffee Night where everyone could contribute their ideas. She could almost hear the laughter and chatter now, a diner filled with ideas and encouragement. With a satisfied grin, Jamie sent out the invitation to her friends. Each ping of affirmation sent a rush of hope through her. Maybe, just maybe, she was onto something bigger. And so, with her notebook open and her heart pounding with anticipation, she planned for the first gathering, eager to unveil her aspirations. Yet, even amid her excitement, a soft voice whispered doubt. What if they didn't believe in her dream as much as she did? As fear crept back in, Jamie pushed it aside. No more doubts. "I'm ready for this ride," she declared softly to herself before switching off the light, determination solidifying in her chest. Tomorrow would be the day she took her first real step. Would she have the courage to share her dream, to open herself up to both support and criticism? Jamie fell asleep, her thoughts swirling with possibilities, the flickering flame of hope burning brighter as she prepared to take the plunge. What awaited her at the coffee night? Would the community she hoped to build stand behind her, or would she face another round of rejection? The sun peeked through the curtains, ushering in the new day with golden light. Jamie sat up, her heart racing as the memories of yesterday's planning flooded back. Today was the day coffee night with her friends. She could already envision the warmth of the room, the clinking of cups, and the buzz of excitement, but uncertainty nibbled at her resolve. She slipped out of bed quietly, careful not to wake Caleb, who still snuggled deeply into his blankets. In the kitchen, she prepared her favorite brew, allowing the familiar aroma to settle her nerves. As the steam curled up, Jamie closed her eyes, inhaling deeply. This was her chance to share her dreams, her visions. The minutes ticked by painfully slow as she arranged the kitchen table, setting it with pens and paper for her friends' ideas. What if they don't get it? What if they laugh? She thought, but she shook her head. She was stronger than that. She had to be. By the time she finished setting up, a wave of anticipation flowed through her. She picked up her phone to check the time, her thumb hovering over the screen. Messages flooded in, friends confirming their attendance. Each ping felt like encouragement, each reply a reminder that she wasn't alone on this journey. Just before her guests began to arrive, she took a moment to breathe, grounding herself. The doorbell rang, jolting her from her thoughts. Heart pounding, she opened the door to find Kelly, her closest friend and biggest supporter, standing there with a radiant smile and a loaf of homemade banana bread. "Hey! I brought this. Thought it would pair well with coffee," Kelly said, and Jamie couldn't help but grin. It was just the kind of comfort she needed. More friends trickled in, filling the kitchen with laughter and warmth. Jamie's heart fluttered with excitement as they settled in, their chatter weaving around her like a comforting blanket. They grabbed cups and filled them with steaming coffee, the rich smell mingling with the sweetness of the banana bread. Once everyone was seated, Jamie took a deep breath. "Thank you all for coming tonight. I know we're here to just chat, but I need to share something really important." Pausing, she could feel the weight of her dream pressing on her chest. Their eyes were on her, filled with curiosity. Jamie closed her eyes for a brief moment, imagining Caleb's smile as she took a leap into the unknown. "I want to open a coffee shop," she announced, determination lacing her voice. "It's not just about coffee, I want it to be a community place somewhere people can come together and dream." An excited murmur rippled through the room, and Jamie opened her eyes, meeting the bright gaze of her friends. "What do you think?" she asked, her voice tinged with nervousness. "I love that idea." Kelly chimed in, "We can brainstorm ideas together." Encouraged, Jamie continued to share her vision, and soon enough, the conversation blossomed with enthusiasm. Suggestions flew around the room like confetti: menu ideas, decor inspirations, and marketing strategies. With every word exchanged, Jamie felt her confidence swell. She was building a foundation, not just for a business, but for a dream supported by love and friendship. But just as quickly as the atmosphere sparkled with hope, a sudden silence blanketed the room. They had shifted into serious territory. "But how are you going to finance this?" one friend asked gently. It felt like a rain cloud over the bright gathering. Jamie's heart sank. The doubt she fought against clawed back, whispering, "What if they're right?" Determined not to let fear win, she took a deep breath. "I'm meeting with the bank next week. I have a plan," she rallied, though inside her chest, those doubts clung tightly. Would this be the moment she opened herself up to potential failure? The conversation continued, laughter interwoven with fresh ideas, pushing Jamie forward in this journey. As the night wore on, the question lingered in the air: could she really turn her dream into reality? And if so, would the backing of her friends be enough to make it truly fly? The evening would be a spark or a storm. Jamie had put everything on the table. But what would happen when they left? Would she have the strength to face the bank representatives alone, with just her dreams in hand? The room gradually emptied, each hug and goodnight resonating with warmth, but Jamie felt a chill creeping in. She stood by the door, still holding onto the remnants of laughter, as her friends filtered out into the night. Their cheerful voices faded, leaving a haunting echo in her mind. The weight of the evening settled heavily around her like a thick fog. "Did you see the look on everyone's faces?" Kelly said, brushing strands of hair behind her ear. "They're so excited for you, Jamie. You can do this." "Yeah, I hope so," Jamie replied, her voice trailing off. She had put everything she had out there, but as soon as the excitement chipped away, her doubts returned, sharper than before. Once the last friend left, Jamie leaned against the doorframe, staring into the emptiness of the living room. The notes they had scribbled on paper scattered across the table were like fragmented dreams, bright, promising, yet disjointed. The fading scent of banana bread twisted in her stomach. "You should be proud," Caleb's voice startled her as he appeared in the hallway, still in his pajamas, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. "That was amazing. Everyone believes in you, Jamie." "Do they?" she whispered, the fragility of her hope hanging in the air. "What if I fail? What if my plans are just ridiculous?" Caleb stepped closer, his expression softening. "It's not ridiculous to dream big. Remember how you worked on that school project? You had no idea how it would turn out, but you poured your heart into it, and it was incredible. This is no different." Her heart lightened at his words, but the fear mixed with doubt simmered below the surface. "But this time I'll be risking more. What if I walk into the bank and they laugh? What if they say no?" Caleb's eyes met hers, steady and unwavering. "Then you try again. You don't stop fighting for what you want, Jamie. The bigger the dream, the harder the fight, right?" She nodded slowly, a flicker of hope igniting within her. "You're right. Let us get some sleep. Tomorrow's another day to chase that dream." But sleep eluded her. Jamie lay wide awake in bed, the moonlight spilling through the window, illuminating the ceiling like the vast unknown stretching ahead of her. She replayed the night over and over in her mind, the excitement, the hesitation, the fear. She thought about the meeting with the bank and what it would mean for her future. What would it take for her to truly believe in herself? The following day dawned clearer, the sun spilling its light just like it had the day before, but something felt different. Jamie sensed a shift within her, a bubbling determination hoping to break free. As she brewed her morning coffee, she took a moment to visualize the coffee shop. Not merely a business, but a gathering place filled with laughter, where ideas could flourish. But, as she sipped her coffee, she wondered about the next challenge. Would she be ready to face whatever the bank would throw her way? With one last anxious glance at her reflection in the microwave door, Jamie gathered her notes, her heart pounding with both dread and excitement. Pulling the door open, she stepped into the bright morning sunshine. She was heading to the bank, and despite her fear, she felt a flicker of something new, hope mixed with courage. Would this be the day she took the first bold step toward making her dream come true, or would it only deepen her uncertainty? Jamie stepped outside, the warm sun caressing her skin as if encouraging her forward. The world around her bustled with life. Birds chirped excitedly, children laughed as they hopped on their bikes, and the scent of freshly cut grass mingled with the aroma of baked goods wafting from a nearby cafe. But within her, an internal storm brewed as she made her way toward the bank, each step heavier than the last. As she approached the bank's entrance, her stomach twisted tightly in knots. She paused briefly, glancing back at her neighborhood. It felt strange to be leaving behind her comfort zone. Her friends' cheers echoed in her mind, but so did the haunting thought of rejection. They believed in her, but would anyone else? Taking a deep breath, she pushed the door open, the bells ringing softly above her. The cool air rushed out to meet her, wrapping her in a cocoon of unfamiliarity. She stepped inside, the polished floors reflecting the flickering lights overhead. The reception desk sat before her, and she felt like a deer caught in headlights, unsure of where to go. "Can I help you?" The receptionist's voice pulled her from her trance. She was a middle-aged woman with kind eyes, and Jamie found an unexpected comfort in her smile. Taking a small step forward, Jamie held out her notes, her palms clammy. "I'd like to speak with someone about a business loan?" "Of course," the receptionist said, gesturing toward a waiting area. "Have a seat, and I'll let them know you're here." Just relax. Easier said than done, Jamie thought. She sat down, her heart racing wildly. As she waited, she observed the other customers in the room, some with thick files, some with nervous smiles, all with their own dreams tucked under their arms. A man sat across from her, sighing with frustration as he scrolled through his phone, while an elderly couple whispered excitedly about a new investment. Each moment felt like an eternity, stretching her anxiety thin. Finally, a tall man in a navy suit walked up to her. "Jamie, is it? I'm Mr. Daniels. Let us discuss your plans, shall we?" His expression was neutral, which only amplified her fear. As they walked into the small conference room, Jamie's mind raced. Would they listen? Would they care? Seated across from him, Jamie placed her notes carefully on the table like fragile glass. She took a deep breath and began nervously describing her vision. "I want to open a coffee shop that isn't just about coffee. It's about community, creativity, a space where people can connect," she said, her voice shaking but growing steadier with each word. Mr. Daniels nodded, a flicker of interest appearing in his eyes. "That's a great concept. What do you have in mind for funding?" Her pulse quickened. This was it. The moment of truth. "I've put together a business plan," Jamie said, handing him the notes. "And I really believe this could work." As he scanned the pages, a silence fell between them, heavy with anticipation. Jamie's heart pounded in her chest, each beat a reminder of the stakes. Mr. Daniels finally looked up, his expression unreadable, and she felt the weight of his gaze. "This has potential, but what happens if it doesn't? You keep going," Jamie blurted, surprising even herself. "You adapt. You learn. I'm not afraid of failure. I'm afraid of never trying." He raised an eyebrow, and for a moment, it seemed as if her words resonated. But would it be enough? The clock on the wall ticked away the seconds, her breath caught in her throat. The air felt thick with tension, every moment stretching her nerves thin. Would she walk out of that room with her heart soaring, or shattered? What she didn't expect was the spark of something else. Was it understanding? Hope? Would his next words either support her dreams or crush them into dust? Mr. Daniels leaned back in his chair, crossing his arms. The way he studied her sent a shiver down Jamie's spine. She held her breath, praying for just a glimmer of hope. His gaze was intense, like he was searching for something beneath her words. "I appreciate your passion, Jamie," he said slowly. "Most people walk in here with a number and a dream, but you seem different. You're committed." Her heart lifted slightly at his words, but she knew there was a long road ahead. "I just want to create something meaningful." He nodded, glancing at the business plan again. "Creating a community hub sounds appealing, but what about the risks? Financial stability is crucial. Have you considered what you would do if it fails? Many entrepreneurs face bankruptcy or emotional setbacks." His words struck her like a cold gust of wind in her lungs. It was the reality she had tried to ignore, but his sincerity met her head-on. "I have. Yeah, I've thought about it. But I can't let fear stop me. I want to do this for myself and for my community." "Ambitious," he replied, his brow furrowing slightly. "But ambition without a safety net can be dangerous." "I understand," Jamie said, her voice steadier. "But my whole life, I've been told not to dream too big. I'm ready to take that leap." There was a long pause, and Jamie felt his scrutiny bore into her. The silence stretched until it became unbearable. Just when she thought the moment would slip away, Mr. Daniels finally spoke. "All right. I want to believe in your vision. I think you have something worth exploring, but I'll need to see more details: cash flow projections, market analysis. It's ambitious, but if you're committed, I'll help you find a path forward." Her heart soared. "Really? You're going to help me?" "It's a starting point." He leaned in slightly, softer now. "But remember, once you dive in, there is no turning back. You have to be all in." "Yes. Absolutely," she exclaimed, her words tumbling out amidst a rush of excitement and relief. This was it. This was the door swinging wide open, and all she had to do was step through. Mr. Daniels smiled for the first time, a small but genuine expression that warmed the space between them. "Let us set up a follow-up meeting in a week. You'll need to prepare more data. I'll connect you with a financial advisor." "Thank you. I won't let you down. I promise to bring everything you need." As they wrapped up their meeting, Jamie floated out of the bank, her nerves replaced by adrenaline. Her mind swirled with the possibilities ahead, a newfound determination strengthening her spirit. She stepped outside, the sun now shining brighter than ever, the world buzzing with life around her. Birds sang sweetly, and laughter echoed from just beyond the street. It felt wonderful and frightening all at once. This was just the beginning. But as she walked home, carrying the weight of her next steps, uncertainty crept back in. Would she find the right people to support her? Could she really navigate the intricate web of business plans and finances? Before she reached her door, Jamie paused, staring back at the bank. "What if I mess up?" she murmured to herself. Yet there it was, her friends had cheered her on, and she had found the courage to step out of her comfort zone. She rallied herself. No more doubts. Only forward. But while hope bloomed within her, a lingering question hung in the air: could she face the challenges of the weeks to come without losing herself in the process? What awaited her on this new road? Jamie stood on her porch, her heart still racing from the bank meeting. She clutched her notes like a lifeline, filled with new ideas and fresh determination. The sunlight warmed her face, feeling like a gentle pat on the back from the universe. She took a moment to breathe, close her eyes, and soak in the excitement brewing inside her. As she pushed open the door, a wave of laughter washed over her. Caleb was giggling with his toys, a reminder of what she was fighting for. Hearing his joy ignited a fire within her. This was about more than just a coffee shop, it was about building a life filled with laughter, hope, and a space where dreams could thrive. "Hey, buddy," Jamie said, her voice brightening the room. Caleb looked up, his grin wide and pure. "Guess what? Mommy is one step closer to opening that coffee shop." Caleb jumped up, eyes sparkling with excitement. "Can I help? I want to make the best hot chocolate." "Absolutely. You'll be the best hot chocolate maker ever," she laughed, feeling warmth spread through her. That evening, as they settled in to watch his favorite show, Jamie leaned back, relishing the comfort of their small living room. She had so much to do in the coming days: finalize her business plan, gather financial details, and think seriously about what the coffee shop would really look like. But for now, she was just grateful for this moment, this peaceful interlude before diving into action. As the credits rolled, Caleb turned to her, eyes shining with sincerity. "Mommy, I'm proud of you. You believe so much in your dream." Her heart swelled. "And I believe in you too, sweetheart. You inspire me to be brave." The days that followed were a whirlwind of purpose. Jamie met with Kelly and dove headfirst into crafting the details of their coffee shop. They met constantly, bouncing ideas off each other while sipping coffee and nibbling on pastries that brought delight to their brainstorming sessions. Much like the old days in high school, they paired their dreams with diligence, locked in on making them real. Each late-night planning session left her energized. There was something so exhilarating about pulling her vision together piece by piece. As she honed in on her concept, a cozy spot with colorful decor, an inviting children's area, and community events, she felt herself shed the weight of doubt she had carried for years. But the challenges weren't over yet. With the follow-up meeting at the bank looming, Jamie felt a familiar nervousness creep back in. What if she couldn't pull together all the financial projections? What if Mr. Daniels changed his mind? Her stomach tightened at the thought. "Hey, Jamie, you've got this," Kelly said one afternoon, squeezing her shoulder. "Remember what you told us? You can't be afraid to try." Jamie nodded, trying to embrace the support that enveloped her. The words bubbled up in her chest, but the fear loomed large. The night before the meeting, Jamie spread her notes across the kitchen table. Caleb, having caught a glimpse of his mother's worry, climbed up beside her and laid his head on her shoulder. "Mommy, what's wrong?" She sighed, wishing she could shield him from her uncertainty. "Just a big day tomorrow, buddy. You'll be amazing. You always are, he said through a sleepy smile. His faith infused her with strength, easing the tightness in her chest. Thanks, Caleb. You're right. When morning dawned, Jamie felt a mix of anxiety and excitement drive her. As she dressed, she caught her reflection. A nervous smile played on her lips, but her heart was set on purpose. This is the day, she whispered to herself. Walking into the bank felt different this time. She was prepared, walking with determination. The hallways echoed with purpose as she made her way back to the conference room where she would present her plan. Mr. Daniels greeted her, his expression neutral yet inviting. The meeting unfolded smoothly, her heart steadying as she shared the vision for her coffee shop. Mr. Daniels listened intently, finally looking up with a nod of approval. I see a lot of enthusiasm. Here, Jamie. You've clearly put in the effort, he remarked, studying the numbers she laid out. The flicker of interest in his eyes nourished her hope. So let us talk about backing this project. With the right support, we can build something extraordinary, she said, locking eyes with him, feeling a surge of determination swell. As she left the bank, Jamie felt like she could almost float home. The warmth of promise wrapped around her like a cherished blanket. She couldn't wait to share the news with Caleb. Over dinner, she had him sit up straight. Guess what, buddy? The bank is going to help us get started. His face lit up like the sun. For real? Are we going to have a shop? Yes. A place with coffee, hot chocolate, books, and space for families. Where everyone can laugh and dream together. Caleb threw his arms around her, and she squeezed him tightly, feeling like they were ready for this next chapter together. All the fears and uncertainties had shaped her into someone stronger. Days turned into weeks, and soon the shop began to take shape in the local community fundraising events, design discussions, and even a playful mural that Caleb helped paint. They established a space where kindness flourished, laughter filled the air, and everyone was welcome. From a dream to a reality, Jamie's coffee shop stood as a beacon of hope not just for her, but for all those within their little corner of the world. Every cup poured, every smile exchanged, was a promise of what was to come not just for her, but for Caleb and the community they belonged to. In that cozy cafe, Jamie finally felt at home. It wasn't just about coffee anymore, it was about building dreams together. As laughter rang across the room and the aroma of fresh coffee curled around them, she knew her leap had taken root. Each moment was a testament to resilience, and this was just the beginning. And as the sun set outside their little shop, Jamie smiled wide. This was family. This was hope. This was life. Now, don't wait another second. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let's keep this journey alive together.